Have you ever wondered why, even in the face of clear facts, some people seem to prefer the darkness of ignorance? Why is truth often so feared that stupidity becomes a refuge? These aren't easy questions, and the answer might be more terrifying than you imagine. Today we're diving into Dietrich Bonhoeffer's profound and uncomfortable theory of stupidity, a man who lived in dark times and deeply understood what happens when reason is overshadowed. Bonhoeffer, a German theologian and pastor who bravely resisted the Nazi regime, left us one of the most impactful reflections on stupidity. He didn't see it as an intellectual deficiency, but as a moral and existential phenomenon that imprisons minds and hearts. Prepare for a journey that may challenge your deepest beliefs, but also promises a path to emotional liberation and self-knowledge. This video is an invitation to look within, into the shadows you might not want to see, and discover the strength that lies in truth. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Chapter 1. The Hidden Danger of Stupidity. It's not a lack of intelligence. Bonhoeffer's first and most crucial revelation is that stupidity isn't synonymous with a lack of intelligence. Brilliant people with high IQs and great academic capacity can be profoundly stupid. Stupidity for him is an acquired condition, a moral failure that manifests when individuals abdicate their own reason and allow themselves to be swayed by ideologies, dogmas, or the crowd. It's the absence of autonomy of thought, the inability or refusal to question, to discern, to see beyond what is conveniently presented to them. Imagine the pain of a puppet whose strings are invisible to itself, but obvious to the observer. That's the pain of stupidity in action, being manipulated without realizing it, repeating others' narratives as if they were unquestionable truths. Think about how this reflects in our lives. How many times have we found ourselves caught in fruitless discussions, where logic is irrelevant in the face of blind conviction? How many times have we been hurt by the stupid decisions of others, or even more painfully, by our own? Stupidity isn't merely an error, it's a disease of the soul that prevents us from growing, learning, and authentically connecting with the world and others. It creates invisible walls that isolate us, keeping us in a prison of illusions. If you identify with this pain, with the longing for clarity and a more authentic life, please like this video. It's a small gesture that helps us spread this vital message. Chapter 2. Stupidity as a Shield. The Fear of Truth. Why would anyone choose stupidity over lucidity? Bonhoeffer points us to fear. Stupidity often serves as a protective shield against harsh reality. It's easier to remain in the comfort zone of prefabricated beliefs than to face the truth, which is often complex, uncomfortable, and demands constant reevaluation from us. The fear of being different, of being excluded, of admitting one was wrong, or even the dread of confronting one's own ignorance, all can lead to adopting a stupid stance. It is fear that makes us close our eyes to evidence, that prevents us from questioning authorities or ideologies that offer us a false sense of security. When truth threatens our worldview or forces us to take on responsibilities we don't want, stupidity becomes a convenient refuge. However, this escape comes at a very high price. It emotionally traps us. As long as we refuse to see reality as it is, we remain in an invisible cage, limiting our potential for growth, for true connection, and for emotional liberation. Authenticity demands courage. Stupidity, on the other hand, only demands the surrender of one's own consciousness. Chapter 3. The Awakening of Consciousness. Breaking the Chains of Stupidity. There comes a moment when the soul cries out for freedom. The awakening of consciousness is a painful yet absolutely necessary process to break the chains of stupidity. It's when we begin to question the narratives imposed on us, to doubt what we've always accepted as truth, and to dare to think for ourselves. As Carl Jung so aptly taught us, the process of individuation is the journey of becoming who we truly are. And this inevitably involves confronting our own shadows, including the propensity for stupidity. Nietzsche, in turn, urges us to become who we are, an invitation to the courage of freeing ourselves from external and internal bonds. This awakening process can be disorienting. The pain of initial disillusionment is real, for deconstructing old beliefs can feel like a castle crumbling that once provided security. However, it is precisely in this crumbling that the promise of lasting inner peace resides. By embracing the truth, even if it is uncomfortable and reveals our own flaws, we make space for authenticity, integrity, and a deeper connection with our true essence. It is the path to genuine self-knowledge, where vulnerability transforms into strength and lucidity becomes our greatest guide. What was a moment in your life when you felt an awakening of consciousness, where a painful yet necessary truth revealed itself? Share your experience in the comments below. Your story can inspire many. Chapter 4. The Wisdom of Seeing, Solitude, and Inner Strength. The liberation from collective stupidity, while a path to wisdom, can bring with it a sense of solitude. When you start to see clearly, you realize that many around you may not be willing or able to see the same. This solitude, however, is not a weakness. It's a sign of inner strength and self-respect. You are choosing the path of authenticity, of integrity, instead of blind conformity. Seneca, one of the great Stoic masters, reminds us that true freedom lies in the ability to control our own minds and not be shaken by the opinions of others. Self-knowledge deepens exponentially when we allow ourselves this solitude. It is in this space of silence and reflection that our inner voice becomes clearer, our values solidify, and our moral compass calibrates. Embracing your own journey, even if it means going against the current of the majority, is the most courageous act of self-love. It's not about arrogance, but a deep understanding that inner peace and emotional balance are built on the rock of personal truth, not on the shifting sands of external approval. True wisdom teaches us that sometimes the deepest connection we can have is with ourselves, and that this connection is the foundation for any meaningful relationship. Chapter 5. The Path to Liberation. The practice of daily authenticity. Liberation from stupidity isn't a one-time event. It's a daily practice. It's a constant commitment to authenticity and to a critical mind. How can we cultivate this in our daily lives? First, question everything. Don't accept information without checking sources, without seeking different perspectives. Epictetus, another great Stoic philosopher, taught us that it's not events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretations of them. Developing the ability to examine our own interpretations is a fundamental step. Secondly, constantly seek knowledge. Read, learn, engage in dialogue with people who think differently from you. Expose yourself to ideas that challenge your own certainties. Thirdly, practice self-reflection. Ask yourself why you believe what you believe. What are the foundations of your opinions? What biases might be influencing your thinking? Small acts of courage, like admitting a mistake, changing your mind in the face of new evidence, or defending an unpopular truth, are giant steps toward a great emotional transformation. They reinforce your integrity and strengthen your discernment, building a solid foundation for your inner peace. If you value the pursuit of truth and authenticity, like this video to help us reach more people with this message. Chapter 6. Bonhoeffer's Legacy, A Life of View, Purpose and Peace. Dietrich Bonhoeffer's legacy transcends time, serving as a beacon for all who seek a life of purpose and peace amidst the world's complexity. His view of stupidity as a moral choice, a surrender of reason and individual responsibility, powerfully echoes in our own day. In short, Bonhoeffer invites us to active resistance against this form of voluntary ignorance. It's not merely an intellectual exercise, but an act of love. Love for truth, for humanity, and for oneself. He teaches us that true freedom lies in the ability to think for oneself, to question dogmas, and to act according to one's own conscience, even if it means going against the grain. The fight against stupidity, both within ourselves and in the world, is a continuous path of growth. It's a commitment to emotional liberation and to building a life guided by authenticity and self-respect. By embracing this journey, you not only find your own inner peace, but you also become a force for clarity and truth in a world that so desperately needs them. Think about how Bonhoeffer's legacy resonates in your own life. In what situations do you feel the call to resist stupidity and act with more consciousness? Share your reflections in the comments. Your perspective is valuable and contributes to this community of wisdom seekers. The safe haven of full consciousness. We've reached the end of a profound journey inspired by the courage and lucidity of Dietrich Bonhoeffer. We've seen that stupidity is not a failure of intelligence, but a dangerous moral choice that distances us from truth and emotional liberation. We've uncovered how fear traps us in this condition and how the awakening of consciousness is a painful yet essential step towards authenticity. We've understood that the solitude that can arise from seeing clearly is, in reality, a sign of inner strength and self-respect. And above all, we've learned that liberation is a daily practice of questioning, seeking knowledge, and self-reflection, a path to a life of purpose and inner peace. May Bonhoeffer's message resonate in your heart, impelling you to live with more consciousness, courage, and truth. Embrace the journey of self-knowledge and discover the safe haven of full consciousness. If this video touched your soul and helped you reflect, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Together, we can build a community of truth seekers,